The fear among parents in Cameroon for back to school refers to the widespread anxiety, excitement and logical preparation as children head back to school, a common phenomenon that involves buying supplies and preparing children emotionally and navigating course, all crucial for academic success and well-being. Pupils and students across the national territory resume school activities on September the 8th, 2025 for the 2025-2026 academic year. For this reason, preparation were at various levels, especially with parents and guardians, to acquire diverse didactic material as well as other needs for pupils and students. The effervescence of back-to-school fever was felt in the market, shops and other commercial areas of the city of Yaoundé as traders in school items, tailoring workshops and bookshops displayed their stock ready for big business. All this in the week of the school resumption. Good afternoon, blessed people. Welcome to Royal English News Magazine, coming to you from Royal 88.4 FM. Our magazine today will focus on the evaluation of the first week of the 2025-2026 academic year. In this edition of our magazine, through reports, interviews and experts' view, we shall be answering the fundamental question: how successful has back to school been this year? And still in this edition of our magazine, we are going to have our news of the day presented for us by Glory Ngange, and Glory will be talking about the 2025 presidential election plus other interesting news items. At the end of the magazine, we are going to have B1 Mark Brian Dufo, who will be coming up with our weekend Spotify to give us the latest information on all that we need to know concerning sports as we go in for the weekend. Stay tuned for these and more. Good afternoon once again. My name is ABEL, BELA, SAMARI, and with me in the studio is Glory Ngange. Glory, we have in our first part of this of our magazine, which will focus on our news of the day. Our news of the day comprises of our national news and international news. Good afternoon to you, Glory.
Good afternoon, ABEL, BELA, SAMARI.
2025 presidential election, a special page in the news.
Joining me in the studio is our political dossier with Evans Williams Njobati. Good afternoon, Evans.
Good afternoon, Glory Ngange.
Elections Cameroon is currently holding a preparatory meeting ahead of October 12 elections.
Exactly, Glory Ngange. The preparatory meeting, which is taking place at the ELECAM head office in Yaoundé, is aimed at ensuring the smooth running of the forthcoming electoral process. And still in relation to these October 12 polls, national and international stakeholders met yesterday during the 8th consultation session. Chairing the meeting was Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe, Election Cameroon's board chairman, who wished to strengthen transparency, improve voter participation, and further consolidate trust. Here is Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe, who stresses on the yesterday's September 11th forum.
It's a framework where all political parties, the civil society, and the other actors of the administration, other actors of the electoral process come together to have a common vision of how we're going to proceed with the elections. Our idea is to come out with solutions that are going to have firm ground. This is to entail that all the actors present, administration, political parties, the justice, will agree on common items for the management of the elections of 2025. Our idea is to come back and have a solid framework that's going to encourage peace, citizenship, and development of our country. You know, the number of electors have increased, the number of candidates too have increased. We are moving from 9 to 12. It means that it's the momentum. And specifically for this year, we have a great number of participants of the youths, the women, and the physically challenged.
Here now are the appreciation of some political party representatives who attended the set forum.
We are glad that ELECAM has once again called us to come and have a dialogue in view of the upcoming presidential elections, which is to come on the 12th of October.
What we are waiting for at this meeting, we need an engagement from ELECAM to make sure that the electoral process will be clear for everybody, will be transparent, so that at the end of the process, the president that will be elected should receive the congratulations of the rest of the candidates.
The outcome should only be that Cameroonians should assume their responsibilities. So I'm telling them, go out, vote, go back, defend, even if it's your single vote, be sure that your voice counts.
And most importantly, to agree on the code of conduct. When we agree on the code of conduct, it will be difficult for an individual, for a candidate or a political party to go out and use hate speech against other political parties.
And on some of the recommendations to ensuring this transparency, our newsroom equally got the views of Desmond Gala, electoral expert.
The first proposal we would say will be not only the implementation of involving everyone in the process, from women to youths to persons living with disabilities and also to minority groups, but also that Elekam is not going to sit in their offices and push out. Secondly, the recommendations made before now, we have been in different sessions held or convened by Elekam, that these recommendations should push out. And thirdly, that we should move away from, I would say, ethnic and tribal slurs to political programs and political manifestos. That political candidates who are here, representatives of political parties, should be very keen on what is being said on the ground. Because if we burn Cameroon, we have no other country to run to.
It is wise noting that presidential campaigns are scheduled to start 2 weeks from now. Glory Ngange.
Evans, you say a delegation of the Council of Protestant Churches in Cameroon, SEPCA, has been received at the Unity Palace.
Coming in a day after the traditional rulers staged their support to incumbent President Paul Biya, a delegation from the Council of Protestant Churches in Cameroon, SEPCA, led by its president, Reverend Salomon Hamadina, were granted audience by the Minister of State, Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Ferdinand Gongo, acting on the behalf of incumbent President Paul Biya. Religious leaders from SEPCA pledged to preach messages of peace and tolerance in their sermons during this electoral period. Reverend Alain Clément Sokeng is a second vice president of SEPCA.
We stand for peace. We continue to pray for peace before, during and after the elections. And as Protestants, we desire to see all the Cameroonians united in love, forgiving and bearing one another. Already we have organized a special program to educate one another, and we came out with a declaration that we will use the approach of non-violence and sensitize different members in peace. At the same time, we are going to fast and pray because we believe that we need the grace of God. We have the intention of being involved in elections as we desire our people to go and vote, because when you register, you need to go and vote at the same time.
This is not the first time that religious clergies have visited the Unity Palace. Previously, Minister Ferdinand Gongo received imams and the Catholic bishops from the Episcopal Conference in Cameroon. Glory.
Before you go, Evans, you have roundup of political party updates in the country.
With just weeks to go before Cameroon's presidential elections on October 12, 2025, hopes of a united opposition front are showing cracks as divisions deepens between key political actors over the choice of a single consensus candidate. At the center of the storm is the Alliance for Change, APC in abbreviation, led by Honorable Jean-Michel Nietzsche, which has openly distanced itself from the Union for Change's recent announcement of the consensus candidate. In a statement released this week, the APC stressed that neither the party nor its flag bearer, Professor Maurice Kamto, has authorized any individual to negotiate on their behalf regarding coalition arrangement. The Union for Change, however, insists that its coalition is not a narrow part of a political elite but a people-centered movement open to citizens, political parties and civil civil society organizations, announcing a mega rally on September 13th to present a single candidate, a move believed to galvanize the opposition camps ahead of the polls. Yet the planned Douala coalition meeting, spearheaded by opposition leaders Jenkan Chamini, Anise Ekane, and Sam Mbaka, who sought to designate a single candidate, has been banned by local authorities. The rally, scheduled for September 13th at the esplanade of the Amadou Ahidjo Omi Sports Stadium, was prohibited by the divisional officer, citing the impossibility of guaranteeing public order and security, as well as the absence of an authorization from ONYES. Ta Mae Javis is a political analyst who comments on this issue.
At a time when we seem to say our democracy is advanced democracy, we as Cameroonians must be honest and truthful to ourselves and understand that there are some actions that we carried out which history shall judge us. Allowing these persons to have their meeting in the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium, a venue which is funded by taxpayer money. And to me, I think that telling these people not to hold their rally in that area is a violation of basic principles that govern democracy, and not just democracy that make Cameroon to be the land of promise, land of glory, and deep endearment forevermore. Because I see it as a political maneuver. What threat will that meeting pose in terms of incitation? Nothing. What threat will that meeting pose in terms of tribalism? Nothing. What threat will that meeting pose in terms of destabilizing a nation? Nothing.
As a reminder, this is not the first time Cameroon's opposition has struggled with unity. In previous elections, similar attempts at building coalitions were undermined by ego clashes, ideological rifts, and mistrust, leading to multiple candidates splitting the opposition vote, which risks repeating itself in 2025. On a similar ground, Honorable Jean-Michel Ninche announced yesterday that Maurice Kamto met with opposition presidential candidate BELA Bubai Maigari, where both men exchanged on issues related to the October 12 elections, with aims to open a dialogue on the possibility of presenting a single opposition candidate to challenge incumbent President Paul Biya, who has been in power for more than 4 decades. And after that meeting, he made a post on his social media outlet titled, "Let us build Cameroon together." Take a listen to it.
Build a Cameroonian nation together, free from exclusion, instilled hatred and desires for revenge. With our wounded plural memory, with the awareness that every wound or care is a brick in the common edifice. The nationalist independence fighter, our eternal hero, we must recognize the merits of some of them, missteps of others, but also the silent awareness, although very late sometime, of these missteps. I want us to build this nation together in the peaceful cause of a national narrative that strives for our common greatness. Just a symbolic sample as a kind of pilgrimage of gratitude and respect for the sacrifices made. I did not want to exclude, because one does not unite by excluding.
And news just reaching our newsroom has it that Maurice Kamto has formally resigned from the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, MANIDEM, weeks after his endorsement as candidate for Cameroon's October 12, 2025 presidential elections were rejected by ELECAM and the Constitutional Council. In a letter addressed to MANIDEM leader Anise Ekane, the latter expressed gratitude for the party's support, acknowledging its role in backing his candidacy. He did not provide specific reasons for his departure, but emphasized appreciation for the political collaboration. Meanwhile, the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, PCRN, has continued to set up its electoral machinery. In a decision signed on September 10, 2025 in Yaoundé, the party's national president, Cabral Libi, officially announced the appointment of the co-directors tasked with leading the campaign of its candidate. Three figures have been chosen to take on these strategic roles. Noah, Biloa, and Fekon will be responsible for political representation, strategic planning, and political and media communication. Muhammadu Mokhtar will oversee general organization, financial management, and logistics. And finally, Tamfu Ngaka Tristel Richard will be in charge of territorial coordination, grassroots mobilization, and legal motoring of the campaign.
Thank you, Evans Williams Njobati. A workshop to train journalists on the need to go beyond storytelling and stand as agents of peace during elections wraps up today in Yaoundé. The two-day event opened yesterday, September the 11th, with keynote speakers reminding media practitioners in Cameroon that whatever they say during the electoral period is a serious matter. Mapala Zita tells us more.
According to the international media guru Maria Ressa, the truth is not just a fact, but it is a responsibility, and journalism is its most fragile guardian. The training under the theme Media, Peace and Elections is a platform for the different trainers from both the media and civil society to re-conscientize pressmen and women on the ethics and norms of the Fourth Estate. Opening today's activities, Prince Yerima Mundi talked on some of the risks involved in field reporting and the importance for a journalist to be polite yet firm with authorities while avoiding situations of clashes as much as possible. Dr. Ngala Desmond Ngala of the Defy Hate Now initiative drilled journalists on how to combat hate speech and build counter-narratives during elections. Talking about fact-checking and demystifying misinformation during elections, award-winning seasoned journalist Comfort Musa gave several tips on fact-checking and urged her fellow media practitioners to rebuild public trust in journalism, reject lazy or armchair journalism, and above all, adapt to the evolving digital technologies.
Let's now listen to one of the main speakers, Dr. Ngala Desmond, who spoke on the microphone of Mapala Zita.
Hate speech has come to stay, and it has not come, it has always been here. One of the problems we face with hate speech has been that the media has not been so conscious of the role they're playing or the amplifying role they've been playing. In the past years, we've seen the media as a center point for any hateful discourse or hateful rhetoric, and either it comes from people and the media relay it, or media actually misrepresent some opinions and it tends to be hateful. The outcome of this kinds of engagement is that it brings consciousness into media persons and push them to go beyond the bar, to say, look, it's not just about me, it's not just about them, it's about actually building a nation which is sustainable, but also that it opens us to new kinds of avenues and genres of journalism. We're seeing people from different communities who are here and sharing perspectives on how they live on a daily basis, how ethnic rhetoric, regional rhetoric are actually dealing with their own professions and their lives. And the last one will be to advocate for advocacy.
2025 presidential election, that was our special page in the news.
The foundation stone for the construction of an aluminium processing plant has been laid today in Douala, Littoral region. The ceremony took place at the Douala Industrial Zone, presided over by the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute. The Praulo factory is one of Prometal Group's initiative estimated to cost 88 billion CFA francs and will create about 1,500 jobs. Let's now talk mutual assistance and solidarity. Maso Act 5, where winners of the 500,000 francs CFA offers have continued receiving their finances in the various Renapro Finance SA agencies. Staffman ABEL BELA SAMARI interviewed some of the lucky winners who shared their emotions and plans for exploiting the funds. Take a listen to them in this Vox Pop.
C'est Monsieur Chen Telora. Je compte renforcer mon...
I intend improving on my business. I am a technician. I will buy materials and the various gadgets needed for work since I had difficulties buying them. I encourage other mutualists to be patient and be hopeful because with Maso, we don't give up.
On ne se décourage pas.
This is my first time and it was unbelievable because I wasn't expecting. I deal in sales of technological gadgets like mobile phones, and with this money I will extend my business. I encourage the youths to subscribe to the Maso and try their luck because we never know.
Je m'appelle Sokin Jean Roger. J'attendais, je savais qu'il devait gagner parce que je suis...
I knew I would be ruffled out because I have been a mutualist since its creation and I had faith that I will win. With this offer, I will add my capital given that I do business. To those who are already mutualists, they should not be discouraged because I have been playing the raffle draw for 5 years, so everyone can win.
A 12th batch of over 1,000 Cameroonian military contingents have departed for the Central African Republic as part of the United Nations multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in the Central African Republic, MINUSCA. In a solemn send-forth ceremony presided over by the Minister of Defense, the troops were urged to demonstrate integrity and discipline throughout their mission. Minister Joseph Betty Asomo was speaking yesterday, September the 11th, at the Army Training Center in the East Region. Take a listen.
It symbolizes the blessing of the state of Cameroon and reaffirms our commitment to playing our full role in the international stage by actively contributing to peacekeeping and stability in the Central African Republic. Permit me to recall that since 2008, Cameroon has honored its international commitments by deploying over 20,000 peacekeepers to various theaters of operations around the world, thus establishing itself among the top 20 global contributors of UN troops, and thereby consolidating its reputation as a credible and committed actor in the service of international peace and security.
Out of Cameroon, a latest Save the Children studies have revealed that more than 13 million children in Sudan are deprived of education. The report states that among the 13, 7 million students have registered but cannot access their schools due to war, and 6 million are not registered at all, highlighting the long-term effects of this situation on Sudan's economy. Back to you, Abel.
And thank you so very much, Glory Ngange. We move straight to our magazine. And thank you very much, Rumiale Kume. We'll take you to evaluate the first week of the 2025-2026 academic year. One week into the new academic year, the excitement and nerve have started to settle in, and students and pupils drive into this new routine. Our reporter Ngang Nadesh spoke with some secondary school students who shared their experiences of the first week in school. Take a listen to her report.
As the academic year unfolds, Students across various secondary schools are navigating fresh challenges, forming new connections, and embracing growth opportunities. One student who has quickly found her footing credits the guidance and support from her teachers.
My name is Jennifer. My first day in Green Hills was really nice. I made new classmates. I made new teachers. The teachers were kind to us. They made us to know that we are coming to school to study and not to follow friends, that we should take our studies serious. And our teachers also make us not to be shy and always be active and participate in class and do our assignments. And one thing I love about my school is that there's a lot of discipline.
Another student highlights the role of her teachers in encouraging active class participation, noting that this will accelerate her learning, making her feel more engaged in the classroom.
I'm a student of Form 2. My first 4 days in school was like normal classes, and all teachers spoke about participation and not friends. So I participated in class. Any question, I feel free to put my hand up and answer, even though it was wrong and some were correct. The teacher will correct you and the teacher will not mock at you. And the first 4 days of school, all teachers were friendly.
A third student echoed similar sentiments, praising her teachers for being approachable.
My name is Fino Gracious. My first 4 days in school was amazing because when I went in class, I met my new friends and the old ones and some of the new teachers, and they really introduced themselves to us, to know their names, encourage us to follow our education and take our studies seriously. My first 4 days in school was very amazing.
As the teachers' careful preparations for the new academic year begin to bear fruit, it is clear that the students are settling in well. With supportive teachers, engaging classes, and a sense of community building, these secondary school students seem ready to tackle the challenges ahead, poised to make the most of the next 9 months.
Ngang Nadej, in that report, on his part, our reporter Fimi Crispin caught up with some parents whose children attend nursery schools on how they evaluate the first week of the academic year 2025-2026.
According to most parents, the first day of school was an exciting experience for their children. However, as the week unfolded, the excitement gradually dropped. Chantal is a mother.
The second day, which was on Tuesday, he started crying, telling me that he wants to go back home with me. That is where the problem started. So today, the man is still crying that he wants to go back with me. He don't want to stay again to school. So when I woke him up now like this, he will just like, I want to sleep. I am feeling sleepy. I want to sleep. So it's not just easy. I'm just trying to just make him understand that by 5 o'clock, he needs to be up and prepare for school.
Meantime, Alexandra on her part has not had issues with her daughter, given that she had prepared the young learner's mind about school.
She quickly adapted to school, especially as for some days now, I have been preparing her to go to school by showing her her books items, telling her how she was going to be with an auntie and some friends in a class, and she will be studying. The subsequent other days were quite nice but tiring. She came back from school so tired.
Myra, another parent, reveals she made basically no effort for her son to adapt in school during the first week.
He's adapting since it's not his first year, so he's very excited. Going to meet his friends again that he has once been with them, so he's very excited. And everything is just okay, so I had nothing to do actually to make him adapt because he adapted already. So it's actually exciting because he's not crying. Instead, he's really happy to meet his friends again after a long while.
Why some parents are relaxed after their children easily adapted this first week of back to school, others are hoping that their children do same by next week.
In the evaluation of the first week of the 2025-2026 academic year, since the resumption on Monday, traffic congestion in many towns across the Yaoundé has increased, especially in the morning period. This has affected the circulation of taxis within the city of Yaoundé, causing drivers to spend more time in traffic. Our journalism students on internship, Christian Yumba and Naomi Habongwa, contact some drivers to know how they have been coping with traffic, especially during this first period of the school week. Take a listen to what they have to say in the following Vox Pop.
Now that it's school resumption, we have more passengers than during the holidays. And also in the morning, there is serious traffic. And now, following the fact that there is traffic, it makes the bike riders to have more passengers than cars and also helps the passengers to get to their destinations on time.
There's too much traffic now in town, more than there was traffic during the holidays. And even more than there was traffic in the previous years because roads have been blocked. The roads are on construction, so things cannot be easy. Sometimes you drive and reach somewhere and discover that the road has been blocked, so it's not really easy to deal with. We are just struggling to manage with the small roads that we have to make up with our receipts as taxi people.
We are used to the system. We are used to school resumption, so we just have to manage the circulation problems with the children going back to school and other vehicles that are coming in again, carrying the children to and all what it goes. So it is a normal phenomenon. Anytime that there's school resumption, we have to experience some traffic jams around the main junction.
As we wrap up the first week for the year 2025-2026, one thing has been noticed. Cases of indiscipline have already been recorded among learners just 5 days into the new academic year. This includes skipping classes, non-respect of dress code, absences, among others. In an exchange with pedagogue Ngu Mohammed Siddiqui, Gloringange sought to know from him the penalties that await such cases of indiscipline.
From the register directly to the logbook, everything is always ready, meaning that from the first day, absences are always counted, especially where we have some serious administrators in some serious schools, and there are some exceptional cases where maybe they have to recruit some new students, and before updating the list, their names must be included. Normally, when you are already having 10 and above, even up to 15, they have to draw your attention by giving you a serious warning concerning the absences. When it goes up around 20 to 30, the child will be convocated either in the disciplinary council, or the DM can personally convoke the child. Before giving some warning, they have to find out what is really wrong. Normally 30 is almost dismissal, and they can do what we call temporal dismissal.
We can ask the child who has exceeded a lot of, they can ask the child to clean the school, to sweep the compound. Some of them are even digging some holes to plant some trees for shelter and whatsoever thing. To conclude, we always say that there is no particular time in some school that they can start counting absenteeism. We have to know that once the school have started, everything have just kicked off.
And looking at the different challenges that are providing school needs within the context of this high cost of living, our reporter Jeffrey Tatum talked with some parents to be able for them to evaluate what they have been able to do so far during this beginning of the new academic year.
Inflation remains a major challenge in Cameroon, with an increase of almost 19% since 2023, a percentage that keeps increasing every year, affecting several factors of activities, among which education. Indeed, many Cameroonians are facing difficulties in providing school needs amidst this economic context. Seraphim Baga is an economist at the Cameroon Economic Policy Institute.
This situation hits the parents who must bear high costs for school furnitures like uniforms, satchels, and notebooks. Admittedly, the government has launched promotional sales to temporarily reduce the burden, but these measures remain limited.
Henry Kwam advocates for more competition alongside encouraging local production of school furnitures to fix this issue.
Essentially, the solution is more competition. We need to stimulate private market development and private market production for school supplies to reduce the cost for parents over the long. Encourage the local production of books and exercise books and textbooks, but also things like ball pens to reduce the cost on parents over the long run.
Meanwhile, other economists believes in the need to suspend certain taxes as a way of reducing prices of school items.
It is very urgent to lighten the school basket by temporary suspensions of value-added tax on essential supplies, custom discount on input intended for the printing of manuals, and introduction of targeted digital school vouchers for most vulnerable.
As a new school year resumes, promotional sales are being put in place to enable the less privileged have access to basic school furnitures. However, it is important for Cameroon government authorities to consider implementing a local manufacturing industry for the school needs and therefore create an internal market to reduce dependency on foreign ones.
And our guest this afternoon is Julius Niba, a pedagogue, talking to our education reporter, Glorin Gange. They talk on an evaluation of the first week of the 2025-2026 academic year.
Good afternoon, Julius Niba. It's good to have you as our guest on today's Royal English News magazine.
Good afternoon, madam. The pleasure is mine, and good afternoon to the workers and all the listeners of Royal FM.
Today completes the first week of the 2025-2026 academic year. How do you feel reuniting with colleagues as well as learners after about 3 months of break?
I feel so delighted seeing the young ones again, seeing the smiles on their faces, seeing them running close to me and greeting me. Good morning, Mr. Neba. Good morning, Mr. Neba. I'm feeling so delighted. And I feel so happy as well meeting my colleagues again, smiling together, seeing how to work together for the betterment of these learners and for Cameroon at large. And I wish it continues to the end of this year.
Now, if you were to be asked to evaluate this first week of the school year, what would be your appraisal?
It was a very tedious one. You have learners who come and they are not mastering their classes, which you have to struggle to place them from one place to another. You have parents who come with their worries, some struggling to choose particular seats for their children, which you need to take your time to school them, to know that when the learners come, we just put them anyhow first. Later on, because of their needs, we now rearrange them to put them where they will believe they can study better. You have to have teams. In a day, you have about 10 inspection teams. I think the ministries should also look into this and modernize it.
Julius Neba, any comment on the learners' behaviors within this period, especially concerning adaptability, mostly for new students?
We have mixed feelings. My school being a complex, I will start from the nursery. You see some of them who are very happy running to class and some cry who feel because they don't want to separate with their parents. The teachers have to cajole them and struggle. We give them biscuit to make them love the environment. To the primary, you see those that are old learners running towards the teachers, hugging them and feeling so happy to reunite with their teachers again. And then you have the newcomers into the school feeling so timid and are motivated by the teachers verbally to feel free in the environment. You have those in the college who are dressed so neat and arrange themselves, feeling so happy to come back and meet their friends again, laughing with the teachers. It was very, very attractive to watch.
We know that for some schools, this period is still characterized by relaxation and familiarization. But for more serious institutions, work has commenced already. How is the situation in your school?
We don't have time of relaxation. When the academic year starts, everything starts fully. When you plan well and lessons were checked and the teachers prepare their lessons and there's an in-training to galvanize and motivate the teachers and then instruct them and clear their doubt so that their spirit should be top-notch before they are coming to start the academic year. You see them just flow into learning and everything become booming. We started preparing a month before with various stages of preparations until the week of resumption where we dashed into the academic year with joy and happiness. We galvanized our learners and it was so smooth and so lively and going on normally.
Can you already highlight some challenges faced by these school children within these first days? And what are some ways you think these difficulties can be resolved in the days ahead?
From the kindergarten, there's the nursery, they have their own challenges of, as I said, crying for being separated from their parents. We motivate them, and then the teacher becomes so jovial and lively to play a mother role and make them love the school environment. Some in the primary, they don't master their classes. They come and enter different classes, so we have to take them, move around, and show them one, how their classes have been numbered with names written. Then we produce lists and paste in front of the classes so that before you enter the class, you check and make sure that your name is there. And for the new learners, they look timid. So at the assembly, they are motivated and made to understand that everybody is free to relax, as our slogan is that learning should be a passion. Other challenges are the ones that some of the learners are not able to write fast because they have been at home for a very long time. So this one goes with dialoguing and motivating them.
Julius, neighbor, what strategies can these youngsters put in place to set a good pace for the entire school year right from this moment?
The strategies these young learners can put in place is, first of all, to feel free in the environment, to always revise their books, always ask questions in class on where they are doubting. If they have any doubts, they should make sure the doubts are being clarified. They should avoid bad friends, because at times when you avoid bad company, you stay focused and you learn well. They should set goals, which the objective should be to pass their exams and to succeed by the end of the academic year. They should have a reading timetable where they arrange what they are going to read today, what they are going to read tomorrow. If not, you can find yourself reading one and the same book over and over. They should come to school early and also struggle to get back home early so that they have enough rest. So these are the strong strategies that the learners should put in place.
Definitely. And what about the parents and teachers?
The teacher should not trick the children by relating to parents. There are some teachers who go a long way of taking little tips from parents and giving preferential treatment to particular learners. The teacher should play the role of a role model, not a negative one, but a positive one in the eyes of the learners. The teacher should put a smile on the face of those learners and know they depend on him or her for success tomorrow. The teacher should have at the back of his mind as well that he is not just teaching a child, he is teaching the leaders and those that have to lead this country tomorrow ahead. If they spoil them today, all of us are going to suffer the consequences of spoiling them tomorrow. The teacher as well should prepare his material before coming to class. You have teachers who enter the class, that is when they start dashing to Google and copying word after word. On the part of the parents, they follow up the learners, check their books, check their work, because even you as not understanding the language, you know what is good and what is bad. When you put 2 on 10, you know it's a fail. If they have circled it, you know the child did not write it well. When your child understands that, you throw your eye on his book all the time, they will succeed. The parents should communicate with the school always on any little thing you deem necessary in the life of the child.
You will bear with me that even though the majority of schools in the country have reopened, some children of school-going ages have not resumed school due to the ongoing crisis in some regions. As a pedagogue, how do you feel knowing this, and what impact do you think it can have on them?
This question is hard, is really touching. Like someone like me, I'm in the city of Yaoundé, putting in all my efforts for the children to learn. My younger brothers and sisters in Bamenda are not going to school. It is painful. It is painful, you know. You see how children grow with no notion of education in their heads. And that has a very gross impact on us in both economic and political and social aspects of life. You see, we cannot emerge. An entrepreneurial spirit will not be there. The children are not groomed, thereby pulling the economy behind, and we will become very poor. In physics, they say it is very difficult to have a vacuum in life. Something must come in to take its place. As the children are not being educated, normally another type of education is entering their heads. So you see, they will need to leave. They will need money to also be like their other friends who are working hard. Where do they get this their own money? There will be high crime wave. They will be killing. They will be stealing and all the like. That is a painful pill to swallow. I think it's about time we lay down our ego. The leaders of this nation lay down their ego and come down to a dialoguing table for the betterment of the common man and for the betterment of these innocent souls that are suffering, so that this country will go back to normalcy.
Now, before you go, any words of encouragement to the students, parents, and your colleagues?
What I can say to the students is that they should know that education is not war. It can only be looking difficult if you don't plan your work well. They should study to succeed, not just study to pass their exams. They should know that a man that has succeeded is the one that has been able to take care of himself and his family and his environment. They have to combine their knowledge and with skills that they have, working towards doing something to earn a living. And for parents, please, dear parents, check on your learners, check on your children and see the type of friends they keep. Make sure you monitor the activities they do in the community. Communicate the school on any little worry you have. For my colleagues, teachers, please know that you are a role model in the lives of these learners. They look up to you, even social-wise. So they say the teacher is a hidden curriculum. So don't be the pastor that teaches, do what I say, I know what I do.
Julius, neighbor, let me remind the listeners that you are a pedagogue. Thank you for making yourself available for this lot on the news. Do have a nice weekend.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Thank you to the listeners of Royal FM and to the staff of Royal FM.
And we'll take you into our weekend sport file with B1 McBrien Dufo, who is joining me in the studio. Good afternoon to you, Brian.
Good afternoon, Abel.
Let's begin in football. Matches between Mintak and Titanic FC, initially scheduled to play on Thursday, has been rescheduled to take place at the Fekafu Technical Center in Oja at 3 p.m. today. The match was postponed due to an incident that occurred during the first game yesterday in Bankomo. Brian, you explain to us.
The 2025 National Interpol descended into chaos on its 5th day as supporters of Mintak FC violently attacked the referee Danga Mundi and his assistants during a match against Kumba City FC at the CAF Excellence Center in Bankomo. The Mintak faithfuls were disgruntled by what they perceive as biased officiating, citing controversial calls, excessive fouls, a questionable penalty, and offside decisions. The incident marked one of the darkest episodes in recent Interpol history, raising concerns about players and match officials' safety on the turf. Aside from yesterday's game pitting Mintak FC against Kumba City FC, other games staged at the CAF Excellence Center in Bankomo saw Stablo of Bati cruise past the Amang of Yagua with an 8-1 scoreline, while APV of Ebolowa grabbed their first win after beating IS Olympic of Menganga by 4-1. As it stands, Dream Team FC of Bamenda and Sablo of Bati have qualified for the semi-final of this year's Interpol, while the two other spots are up for grabs, probably between Kumba City FC and Mintak, including Titanic FC from the Littoral region. Jamie Ateken Dumbe was an eyewitness to yesterday's match.
We saw it coming, yes. You know, when you see Tanga Mundi officiating a game, be it a League One, be it a regional league, or be it a League Two, you know that there must be a controversial decision that must be taken, and that will cause some chaos. So I was not really surprised when I saw that particular situation, because it is what has happened this past season in the Cameroon football season. When you program teams to win and you have that notion that a particular team is going to win or going to have some positive results, it already puts the other team under intense pressure and under some kind of marginalization.
And Brian, let's talk about basketball, where there's good news for the country, Cameroon, because Cameroon under-16 boys and girls have qualified for the semi-final of the under-16 Afro Basketball Championship taking place in Rwanda.
Cameroon's under-16 basketball boys punched their ticket this morning after beating Uganda by 53 baskets to 50 baskets in Kigali. The girls on their part beat Kenya in their last group game yesterday to reach the semi-final, where they are set to face off against Egypt at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. The boys on their part will play the winner of today's quarter-final game between Mali and Tunisia, which is ongoing. And notably, this year's edition of the Under-16 Basketball Championship, which is Cameroon's first ever appearance in the history of the competition, will serve as a qualification gateway for the 2026 Under-17 World Basketball Championship, and should Cameroon finish among the top 2, they will qualify for the first time for the upcoming World Basketball Championship.
And it is with that sport page that we wrap up this edition of Royal English News Magazine, in which you got the participation of Glory Ngange, Finwi Crispin, Gang Nadesh, Evans William Jobati, Mapala Zita, Jeffrey Tachum, B1 McBride Dufo, and Naomi Abongwa Yumba Christian, all student journalists here at Royal 88.4 FM. More newscasts will be yours at 6 p.m. Royal Evening News, and the team keeping you company this afternoon is made up of Romiale Kume. He is our sound engineer, our copyright clerk, assisted by Solomon Sana, Alain Kweka, Manbida Brian, were our video editors on our Facebook page, Royal FM Cameroon. The news was produced by B1 McBride Dufo and Evans William Jobati. Mapala Zita did the news editing under the coordination of our own Director General, Roger Kiek. General supervision was ensured by Reverend Pastor Bisa Emmanuel Noel. For presentation and editorial coaching, my name is ABEL BELA SAMARI, and joining me in the studio is GPT Jean-Patient Tala for Geopolitics. Good afternoon to you, Jean-Patient.
Bon après-midi, ABEL BELA SAMARI. Bon après-midi.